for those of you that don't know me, my name is Corey Wall. I'm the FOLA treasurer. I normally regale you with very entertaining math, but today I'm just going to introduce our next panel. It should be fun. It's going to be 30 tips in 30 minutes. Some of these people have already been introduced, so I'm just grabbed a few random pieces about them to tell you something other than their, professional achievements or their latest case. Doug, our past chair, he doesn't need any introduction. You guys all know him, but what you might not know is that he had an amazing 89 Lincoln vehicle with complete red velvet interior. I was very jealous. All right. And then we have Katie here. Katie is our host. She already spoke yesterday. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons I like coming to these is that the practice of law can be soul-sucking.
Really?
You can sit there and you can be sitting in your office asking, why did I make the decision to spend my life doing this?
It's true. It's true.
But when you come to something like this and you hear somebody like Katie speak, I think we all witnessed the passion. And so one of the things is that Katie is one of those people that can help rejuvenate that in the rest of us.
Be an Oprah.
Poke the coals. Get the fire burning a little bit more.
Rejuvenation for you.
I like it. And then Tanya is the executive director with our host association. And despite sharing war stories about our knee injuries a few moments ago, Tanya also is a hiker, dog lover, and as somebody that does estate litigation, I also warms my heart to hear that she does some advocacy around seniors issues. And then finally, we also have Jordan. I'm upset with Jordan.
Oh,
I'm a Sens fan.
Oh, okay.
He checked out a game. I could have been invited. And then also...
That's all I have going for me.
Also,
I went to a hockey game once.
he did disclose that he just recently discovered that Sweden has a royal family.
I learned that this morning at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Are you doing okay?
I'm surprised by this, and that might be the greatest job in the world.
All right, so intro's done. I'm going to see how we do with our
Processing.
clicker here. All right,
Oh, that's
so
me.
we have some slides, and I think if you see your slide, just start speaking.
Okay, so call a friend at least every day, one friend every day. And it could be a family member if you like them. The reason is because the practice of law can be soul-sucking. It can be energy draining. We can feel isolated. And one of the most important aspects of mental health is knowing that you're not alone and knowing that there's people in the world who you like, right? Like that's a good reminder too after a hard day litigating against opposing counsel.
Oh, this is me. Keep notes and cards of gratitude from clients. I started doing this a little while ago because I needed something something tangible I could touch and look at and be like, somebody did care. And so, what I've taken to doing is when I get those things, I put them in a drawer. I like to see that part of the drawer, the file, grow. Like it gives me a visual representation of my contribution. And when you're having those bad days, when you're questioning your life choices, you can open up the drawer and you can flip through things, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that case. That was a good outcome, and things like that. I have a client that calls me once a year and takes me out to dinner, right? Like, so those sorts of things are really helpful, and it seems easy to throw those cards out, don't do it. Put them in a file cabinet somewhere, and when you're having that bad day, open it up, take a little read.
The hate mail from opposing parties will help with that too.
Yes.
This is me. So this one is really just, it's about leadership, and success is great, but I personally take leadership from the people who call me 20, 10, 30 years later and reach out and ask for guidance or support or just to check in. Einstein said it, we should aim to show the value to people. And really, for me, leadership was always about collecting people along the way who you gave something to, whether it was helping them through a challenge or giving them some coaching through their career path. Maybe they were lost along the way. So the true test to me has always been, who did you reach out to, and are they still connected to you? To me, that's success, and that's true leadership.
This one's mine. And I had a YouTube link in there, so I don't know if we can click on the YouTube link so you can understand the references to badges. Will it come up?
We don't have that text.
Okay, we don't have that. So the title of this one comes from a UHF movie with Weird Al and like Mike Richards before he was Kramer and Fran Drescher before, and I'm getting some thumbs up. It's one of the all-time great comedies. But there's this scene where the guy's like, badgers, we don't need no stinking badgers. Anyway, and I use that title for badges on your iPhone. Here it is.
Yeah, got the delivery here for your next show?
Oh, great. What you got?
Well, let's see. I got 1 aardvark, 1 flamingo, 4 porcupines, 2 armadillos, 3 badgers.
Badgers? Badgers? We don't need no stinking badgers!
So that probably explains everything. So this is about your iPhone. And I have listed there what you can do to turn off the badges on your iPhone. The badges is that little red icon over your email, and you can turn it off so that it disappears. Unshackle yourselves and be free, friends. When you leave the office, you have no idea what's going on in your email box, and it's just very liberating. And then you can go in the next day and you can see what horrors await you. But otherwise, when you go home, you're just free. So we don't need no stinking badges.
I love that.
All right.
So simple one here. This is something our firm has started doing in a few different areas, but you can sort of make these canned presentations that you offer to various stakeholder groups or organizations in your service area that you can put out there. You can promote them. They become great business opportunities. They become low effort because but over time you've done them multiple times, whether it's on board training, corporate governance issues. In our case, we have one on Anishinaabe law that one of our associates offers, and these are great business development tools, and frankly, they're fun because it gives you an opportunity to, I think, present your knowledge in a different forum that is somewhat gratifying, and I think gets us all out of our silo a little bit. So, little business development and I think professional wellness tip.
Okay, so this is the Eisenhower matrix that I can't read because the text is too small. Can one of you read it? So at the top, I can read the top and the bottom, I just can't read what's under, like in the colored boxes. So this helps you decide and triage what you have to do at any given point in time. So you classify, you write down everything you have to do in the morning. This is what I do every day. I write down everything I have to do in a day. It usually takes like 3 pages and is at times soul crushing. And then I categorize it based on whether it's urgent, not important, or important. And then this square system helps you triage what you're going to do in order at any given point in time. And I guess you can read it for yourself because I can't. Because it's over there. It's really small. Like it's a really small TV, okay? Like over there.
All right. Have a hobby. It's important. If you don't have one, get one. You might, I picked this one because I'm a little bit rabid. I recently became a motorcycle enthusiast. And I was a little bit sad that I wasn't able to ride it here. But on the flip side, when the snow falls, it also means snowboarding season is here. And so that it just means I got to switch it up. But it is important, and it's something where, the work is always there. There's always a backlog. It's always going to be there. And so if you don't have a hobby, and some of you might actually need to put intentional effort into getting a hobby, then it's very easy for your time just to be continually sucked by the work. But if you have a hobby, it guarantees that you have some of that time set away where it's good for your mental health, and it also ensures that you have some social interaction with people outside of the legal community.
Can I offer you a gateway hobby? An AFOL is an adult fan of Lego. You can buy adult Lego sets, and there's a whole community of social media people who will give you fun things to build. They're just so fun. They're amazing.
If you come to my office, I have my Lego collection on display.
This one's me. It's a good, I guess, segue onto that. Rest and work-life balance. It turns out that the secret that we all get from whether it's your Rogers or your Bell, when your Wi-Fi doesn't work and they say, oh, did you unplug it? Same with us. Did we unplug? It's so important for us as very busy, working more than 24/7 at times. It's really important to find those moments to unplug, whether that's the yoga, whether it's the motorcycle, the snowboarding, the jogging, I don't jog since I broke my knee, the walking carefully in the snow and ice, whatever that is, it's really important. And one more important point, take your vacation days.
Oh, yeah. Big
That's
time.
really important. Don't lose them. That's how you recharge, and that's also another point about my earlier slide about leadership. Lead by example, take that time. Take that time for yourself.
For those of you in your practice who do legal writing, the most important thing you can read to learn how to be a better legal writer is The Old Man and the Sea. Adopt Hemingway's style in the way he uses very, very short sentences, descriptive wording, and try to adapt that into your writing. So the plaintiff is Douglas Judson, period. He is a lawyer in Fort Francis, period. He was fired on Christmas Day, period. And just keep it simple. Especially when you have complicated facts, the more you can simplify it and employ this Hemingway style of writing, the judges appreciate it. So that's something that I tell all of our students who come to the firm, younger associates, is go to your library, or however you get books, go to Indigo or whatever e-reader you have, and read The Old Man and the Sea.
Okay, so this is mine. So obviously we all promote the exceptional services of courthouse law libraries. If you're like me, you often realize you need a resource or a book that is not in your library, and then you start harassing your librarian to order it as quickly as possible. If you get the emails, you look at the ORs and you flip through and you see something that seems like remotely connected to your practice, keep a wish list and send them to your librarian from time to time to acquire them so that they are there when you need them. And, if you're like me, you have a shelf of library contraband at your firm that you have taken and not returned and may never return.
We're not in camera anymore, Doug.
And it just sets the stage for you to commit that theft. So that is that is what I'm recommending to you.
Betty, you heard nothing.
Take responsibility for your life. This is one that people really don't want to hear. So, and the reason is because if it's not working out, guess what, folks? It's your fault, right? Mm-hmm. So you can only control yourself. You can't control other people. Stop trying. You can't control the legal system. I'm sure we've all had that realization. Consistency plus motivation is unstoppable. If you're consistent every day that you're going to do something, just say, I'm going to do it for 15 minutes every day, and you keep at it, you will achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, including building Lego. Done is better than perfect. And this is a critical one for those who have perfectionism/OCD issues. Give yourself the permission to do a mediocre job, okay? and then just get it done. And then guess what? After you have the mediocre job done, you can make it better. And then that way, you're not going to have yourself constantly in that cycle of, well, it's almost done. Well, it's almost done. It could be better. It's almost done. It'll help remove that anxiety. And being nice and being kind to people is a superpower. And you never know who you're going to help. You never know who you're going to touch that day. I mean, metaphorically. You never know how you can help improve people's lives just by being kind.
Keeping it metaphorical is one of the tips, too.
I like it. Consider a credit union. This is me. So, and shout out to Curtis. So I launched my solo practice a few years ago, and I was calling up banks. And I don't know if you all have beautiful, lovely bankers in your life, but I was struggling to get the meetings and the support I needed to get set up. And Curtis came to me and said, you should consider the credit union. And I had been trying for months to get stuff set up. I called the credit union, and it was done within a few days. Like, if you're thinking about your banking situation with your practice, this is a bit of a business thing, but just, like, I cannot tell you the distinction, the difference that I experienced with respect to the level of service and things. Like, sometimes I go into the credit union in person to chat with them because they're nice and they've helped me, right? So they're actually, it's something that I really think you should consider, and it's also nice because if you're familiar with credit unions, they do a lot in the local community, so it's another way for your practice to be supporting your community.
This one's mine. As a people pleaser, as an empath, at the end of my day, at the end of my week, I can be incredibly exhausted. I'm sure we all feel the same way. Our energy levels get low at the end of a week, at the end of a month, at the end of a trial, at the end of a quarter, at the end of the fiscal year. And it's really important to protect your energy. Just like, for those of you traveling today, when you're going to the airport and there's one last charger for your phone, that's the one you're running to try and get because you need that power, the battery recharged. Same for you. And I was given the permission a couple of years ago that no is a complete sentence, and sometimes we actually have to use it. So that was my bonus rule there for you.
If you want to spice things up in your practice, get creative with your email sign-offs instead of like yours truly or thanks.
That's cute.
And you can go into your settings in your Outlook and you can change it so it goes to your automatic signature. I've suggested a couple one here. Sincerely, despite the circumstances, stay golden, pony boy. That's a classic. This one's really, really good and toxic. Envoyé depuis mon iPhone. So this is especially good if you're not even francophone, to leave that in there because like people think number one, like you're an idiot because like why do you have a French automatic iPhone prompt? But then also they might think you're actually on your iPhone. So if you send a particularly long email with a lot of attachments, they'll think what kind of a psycho is just sitting there on their phone. Stay tuned. Leave a cliffhanger. That's a good one. I hope you have the day you deserve. Love this one. Totally passive aggressive, but it like puts it back into their court and makes them reflect on their day. I look forward to your reply with keen anticipation. So just like, it reads like you're being like very courteous, but also like clearly you're being disingenuous. And okay, thanks is my favorite one, especially if somebody sends me like a long, like 6-page letter, like super aggressive in tone. I'll just send back, okay, thanks. And just like leave it totally open, and because you're acknowledging receipt of it, but also like, well, okay, thanks, what? So just just if you want to spice things up in the monotony of day to day, and get creative there.
Oh my God.
I love it.
That resonates.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Interesting.
Okay, so this is another straightforward one, and I think consistent with like the workshop suggestion I had is that we all have to sort of do things, I think, to build up our own resilience, and I think like demonstrating our knowledge in different ways helps us to do that. if you receive correspondence like, okay, thanks, then that's one thing you need to guard yourself against. But, there's also professional obligation attached to this. I think in our communities, we can be leaders in helping people understand legal processes. So when there's legal issues that are of consequence or resonating with the public that they don't understand, especially in this current climate of attacking bail and charter rights and all these things that are going on, we can, I think, provide a lot of useful information from a place of trust in the community. And so I commend you to do that for business development, but also your own, I think, wellness and, profile reasons in the community.
Oh, this is my favorite. So during COVID, our firm, we came up with a mental health strategy for dealing with how it seemed like the world was losing its mind, and some opposing counsel sometimes were losing their mind. And we wanted to make sure we weren't losing our empathy for people. And this can be fun and funny. We played it last night before going out for dinner. But it's actually really useful because a little bit of perspective changes everything. So before you react emotionally to the actions of others, like let's say you get a really angry 6-page email, you sit there and you go, okay, well, in fairness to, like, pick a name of the person who sent you an email.
Doug Judson.
Doug, who steals books. In fairness to Doug, hoards books pathologically.
For the library.
Allegedly. In fairness to Doug, if you were in your office putting together Lego and you really wanted another hobby, that hobby could be stealing books from the library, right? Like, so you sit there and you go, okay, in fairness to this person, if I were to put myself, that was a joke, if I were to put myself in this person's shoes, what would make me do that? What life circumstance would lead me to that action? And it provides for an opportunity for a little bit of hilarity, a little bit of relief, but it also allows you to see their perspective. And it is a great way of hearing one of your colleagues who's dealing with someone on the other side who's challenging. In fairness to them, if you were a Bay Street lawyer and never left your desk, you would need to get your feelings out in 6 pages of angry correspondence to this great guy, by way of example.
All right, take the time to learn new tech. I will tell you, it is important to stay current. Tools like AI, so I'm a solo, I use AI a lot to assist with administrative things. They can save you a lot of time, can improve efficiency, and also, in relation to the 6-page letter, sometimes I'll write something thinking I'm explaining it perfectly to the layperson, and I have tons of legal words in there, and I've been doing it too long, so I'm totally blind to it. And so using those sorts of tools, it can also help you to be more accessible for your clients, not with your time and your cell phone number or anything, but in the way that you're communicating and making sure that they are comprehending what it is that you're delivering. And also, I'm a solo, but I was trying to think, like, if you're in a firm environment, what might help? And I just picked the example of Scribe. Scribe is something where, if you're managing your firm or you have associates and you'd want to sort of make sure they're going through this process, if you do it on your own computer with Scribe, you can do a little voiceover as you're doing it, you can explain what you're doing, and then you've captured it. And so when you have those people coming to you for the nth time asking, how do I do this? And maybe you've been asked 5 times that week by 5 different people and you're at your wit's end and you're like, oh my God. You can just send them this and say, here you go. All of this is with the caveat, it's not always perfect, but I did all my slides with AI. It worked out really well, I think.
So this one's about, I think we've heard it on this stage, in fact. We're very funny, we're very sarcastic, and we know how to time that very well in the course of our day. The balance, the magic is being able to bring all those pieces together in the course of your day, who you work with, your colleagues, your family, and your friend. You do need to be serious, but you also need to take a moment and have a good laugh and have a good sarcastic wit to you when you're communicating with people. So it is that, frankly, that people remember at the end of the day. It's the kindness, it's the stories, it's the humor, it's the wit.
There's a lot of TV shows and movies and law out there, and most of them are junk, as many of you know from, yeah. And they're not realistic. The best law movie out there, if anybody movie buffs, is a movie called The Castle. It's from the early 90s. It's an Australian movie. Tells the story of this rural Australian family whose homestead is being expropriated to make way for an airport. And it is so hilarious. It's authentic. It's the most realistic law movie there is. I think you can get it on Apple. You can stream it. It's also, I think, Eric Bana's first full-length film. But highly recommend. It's honestly great.
It's one of the best movies of all time.
If we're making plugs, if you're an estate solicitor, the Aussies did a really good job with the Netflix series of it. It's available on Netflix. Fisk. It is it is
so good.
It is so good.
Hard sell.
The ties that bind.
The Australians are crushing it with their legal.
They're doing really good down there.
Good for them.
Okay, so this is one our firm has adopted. We have switched to a new voice over internet phone provider, and I would commend you to do some research on this. We use RingCentral, but there's comparable ones. The reason this is helpful is, one, you never want to have to give out your cell phone to your client, and it allows you to take calls over your desk phone through your desk number. You can also text through it, but the best feature, the one I have just learned how to use, that it's incredible, is that when you're on your computer, it will make an AI summary of your phone call for you that you can save to the file. So it will say, this was a call between Doug and Katie. They first started yelling at each other about the file, but they were talking about next steps in the litigation. Doug agreed to send Katie this. Katie agreed that we would be returning the motion on such date, the end,
What's it called again?
We use RingCentral. So check that out. Our entire office has it. I think that they sent us the desktop devices and charge us $20 per phone line per month. It's very, very affordable, so.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's mine. This is a big one. As someone who is, I'm a really, I wear my heart on my sleeve, one of those types of people. And you have to be not careful, but when people show you who they are, believe them, right? Like, pay attention to a person's actions as a demonstration of their character rather than the character you may wish them to have. So it's a small life hack, but it's a really important one, especially if you're someone who's generous of spirit. Because if you go back to Tanya's slide, which is your energy is a limited resource, just be mindful about who you devote your energy to. And when people show you who they are, believe them.
Accept and provide help. So this is, it's pretty basic, all right? But at the same time, all of us are professionals. We're lawyers. I'm judging all of you and telling you that you might have larger egos than some of the general population. But the idea here is, you can always reach out and talk to people. There are people in the legal community. There's a lot of really good leaders that will help and support you. Collaboration, I have lawyers that I work with on the regular. They're opposing counsel. We fight and argue in front of the judge all the time, and then when that's done, they're like, oh, have you looked at this issue, or did you hear about this case, or things like that? So they share that sort of information. I try and reciprocate, and doing some of that, it does take you out of your sort of silo where you're sitting there just grinding away, and it reminds you that there's a human element to what we're doing. It's a situation where when I've been called and had demands on different things, and I've been able to have those relationships, and people have shared stuff and whatnot, and if I need help or for somebody to cover something, by doing that and also reciprocating, I don't feel like I'm stuck. And I can reach out to somebody, try and foster those relationships with somebody. It helps if they're local, but even if they're not. But for me, especially when I was getting started up, I already shouted out Curtis, but there's some others as well. So it's really important. So don't feel like you always have to do stuff alone.
Yeah, this one's mine. Don't sweat the small stuff. I think we've heard that. It's kind of overused. But at the end of the day, I think looking around the room, a lot of us are a little bit older, not all of us. So the Gen Xers and above, the vintage crowd, we'll remember. We went out on the streets without helmets on our heads. We drank out of the hose. We came in when the streetlights came on. So if we survive that, then it's okay to survive the strategic pivots that we have to deal with every day, or the conflicts in the office, or the no's that we've heard. It's okay to take a moment and know it's okay. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow we can start again. Ask for help, have a hobby, some of the things we've already heard about, and pull all those things together. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Oh yeah, this the best case to come out in a long time is a decision of Mr. Justice Wojciechowski, who sits in Thunder Bay in Britain and Lee. I don't even practice family law, but I got passed around, and I had to send it off to a bunch of people. But basically, there was a dispute amongst separating spouses over a bunch of property issues, and nobody could figure it out. So Justice Wojciechowski just made a chart and said, okay, you're going to flip a coin, and whoever gets wherever the coin lands, that's who's going to get the X piece of property, and vice versa, and goes down this long list of the property. And it's so well written, and it's just my kind of justice, just flip a coin, who cares? Like it was honestly coming down to like the duvet and stuff like this, right? And it was before me, just like here's the list of all the items. Anyway, so it's not a long decision, but definitely worth a read, and maybe this is the new direction of justice, is coin flips.
Okay, so this is a shameless plug for the Boralaskan Faculty of Law at Lakehead University. For those who are unfamiliar, have just heard about their unique pathway to licensing as lawyers. Instead of doing an articling placement, as most of you would have done, they instead do a practice placement with a legal service provider, whether that's a private firm or some other legal service provider, for one of the the semesters in their third year. My firm is on its third practice placement student. We'll have our fourth in the winter semester. I know Jordan's firm has had several
since the program opened. Yeah.
Yeah, and consistently we've been very impressed with the students that we've had. I particularly want to commend this to firms that are smaller, who maybe who are struggling with the commitment to have an articling student for like 10 months or a year, which is a longer period of time, or there's a budgetary reason, because typically articling students are remunerated. The practice placement students are not allowed to be remunerated because it's part of their curriculum. So there's, I think, an opportunity for mentorship there, and for practice succession, and to bring someone new into your bar. And I guess the last thing I'll say is that because that faculty is sort of spreading its student base, or it's attracting more students from around the province, that they're looking for more placement opportunities outside of the Northwest. Now, that said, we want them to stay in the Northwest, but I appreciate that if you have moved there from Southwest or somewhere else that you're maybe looking to go back to where you came from. There's at least one practice placement grad here in
Mason,
Mason. And so feel free to ask him if you have any questions about what that looks like from the participant side.
Okay. I still use a BlackBerry, in full disclosure. So when I say you should learn about technology, like, take it with a grain of salt. However, in Word, and I'm sure you already know this, and I just learned it, but in Word, there's shortcuts. There's shortcuts for obviously bold, control, copy, paste, etc. But there's also shortcuts for footnote cross-referencing, where I provided a video. If you click on the link of the video and you start putting in your footnotes in this fashion, don't bother clicking on it right now, but if you put the footnotes in this fashion, it actually updates the supras for you as you insert new footnotes into the document, so that you don't have to go back and change all your supra footnoting at the last minute right before your filing deadline. That's never happened to me ever. So I greatly, strongly suggest that was life-changing, which was the footnote function.
What would also be life-changing is if some of you learned about a function called Save as PDF.
Oh, yeah.
Like the crooked scans, like, come on, guys, like.
That's true.
Connect with other lawyers. This is me. Engage with peers outside of client work. This is why I found myself at a karaoke bar last night. This is why I'm here today, right? And it's a situation where it can really, I will have phone calls with opposing counsel. We have urgent client issues. I try and value people's time, but I also make a point of being like, how are you doing? Checking in. And it's really nice, because when I had my latest long hearing and I got ambushed by my friend with a case that he just thought of that day, afterwards he felt really guilty, and he's like, all right, you have to come out and meet me for a beer because I feel bad. So it's surprising how much, can actually come out of connecting with the human element of the other lawyers in your community. People like to talk about their kids, their hobbies. You will hear about motorcycles if I get the opportunity to talk to you about it, stuff like that. And what happens is it also, for litigators, I know that there's a variety of different approaches, but when they have that human connection with you, you're not going to necessarily get the 6-page letter full of acid that they want to pour into your ear, right? So that's one of the things. The connections are important, and there you go.
The greatest book on law ever written is Journal of a Country Lawyer. It's by a guy named Ted Burton. The character in the front is Ted Burton. He's a retired Crown attorney who's passed away. This is an incredible autobiography he wrote where he's just describing the law from a bygone era, and some very, his involvement in some very important moments in the history, at least in Northern Ontario, like the Anishinaabe Park occupation, the bombing of the CIBC Bank in Kenora, like some really interesting moments in time, but also his story of the coroner's inquest that took like 30 minutes. Like there's just some really, really interesting stories. It should certainly be required reading for any law student, certainly any law student going into Northern Ontario, and it's a testament to kind of frontier justice. There is a copy, I did look it up before I came here, in the Kenora District Law Association Library, the Thunder Bay Law Association Library, and the Great Library. So I know there is like an interlibrary loan system. So definitely check it out. It's worth a read, and it's hilarious and so well written.
And put it on your wish list, and you can take it to your firm.
Doug has like
And
30
Doug
copies
has
in his
30
office.
copies. Get in there before Doug can.
Inner office library alone with
All right.
Doug.
So this is mine. One thing we do at our office is we give our staff like an annual budget to spend on whatever tech they want to do their job, whether that's a different headset, a monitor stand, a second monitor, a printer to have at home to make life a bit easier. It gives them some autonomy. It lets them sort of choose their own destiny for what they want their work settings to be like. And I think that it's something that returns dividends in making people happier at work.
So this one is really, it's the small print that's important here. I think the most important part here is that we're all a mix of the brain, the athlete, the basket case, the princess, the criminal. We've all gone through reading and seeing those movies, The Breakfast Club. So we've earned the right to wear our sneakers, we've earned the right to wear comfortable shoes, we've earned the right to have a good laugh, and I encourage you all to embrace your quirky.
Yeah.
Nice.